Today I am going to tell a story about grandmother. The name of the story is How I Taught My Grandmother to Read. Granddaughter helped grandmother to read and write. This granddaughter taught grandmother reading and writing. So now let's get into the story. Once upon a time there was a woman called Kristakka lived in North Karnataka. Her age is 62. And there is another girl here that is a granddaughter. Granddaughter name is not mentioned. Granddaughter's age is 12. She came to live with her grandmother in the story in North Karnataka. In those days the transport system was not very good and people used to travel on foot and on bullock carts. What happened in those days, they used to get morning newspaper they used to get in the afternoon, and weekly magazines they used to get one day late. So like that things used to happen. And so this grandmother likes to listen the stories in the newspaper and in the magazines. This granddaughter used to read all the episodes of the magazine for the grandmother. Now let's see in these novels, one is the best novel is the Kashi Yatre. In that Kashi Yatre there are many different stories are there. So the novel Kashi Yatre is written by a Triveni, a young writer, Triveni, who is from Karnataka. She died at her young age. Before she died at her young age, when she was 25, she had written many number of novels. All her novels were excellent. She used to write about the ordinary people, the problems of ordinary people, the psychological problems of everyone. She used to write. Now here is a book written by Triveni. That book liked by everyone. Now this granddaughter used to read that book for grandmother. Grandmother used to listen the stories. And what happened in that book, one story is there about a old lady. A old lady was a devoted lady. That old lady always used to worship God and pray to God. What happened? That old lady used to even save her money in her savings. She used to keep at one place so that she can use that money to go to Kashi. And she want to visit a temple, Lord Vishweshwara temple, and get the blessings from that God. So all her pocket money she used to keep in one box. What happened in the same story? And there is also one young girl and who is about to get married. She is an orphan girl. She did not have money. She wanted to get married. Her age is to get marriage, but she did not have money. What happened in that story? That old woman who saved her money given to the orphan girl who wanted to get married. Like that, the old woman, all her savings to go to Kashi spent for the marriage of the young girl. And she felt more happiness in giving and giving money for the orphan girl than going to Kashi and worshipping Lord Vishweshwara. Like that she enjoyed, that old woman enjoyed in that story. Kashi Yatra story. Therefore, people like that story. So, even this grandmother also liked the Kashi Yatra novel. So, like that, but here grandmother always only listen the story from granddaughter because grandmother could not read and write. She always listens the story, and she will not only listen, she used to keep in her mind. She recites the same story when she goes to temple every day, and with her friends she used to decide, and they used to have a debate also in the temple where so many children in the temple play with this granddaughter. And when the granddaughter is playing in the temple and this grandmother used to recite or tell the story to her friends. Like that, the day they used to spend. So what happened? One day, this granddaughter went for a wedding for the wedding of her cousin to a neighboring village. When she went to there, and she thought she would come after 2 or 3 days, but what happened? She ended up staying there for 1 week, for 7 days. After she returned from after they enjoyed the olden days, they used to have the wedding for 1 week. They enjoyed there, so they used to conduct so many programs when they have the wedding. So the girl, they stayed there for 1 week, and she returned to the village to grandmother. When she came and saw grandmother was crying. Now you can see in the picture, her tears are rolling down from her eyes towards the cheek here. So, and because grandmother for that week, she could not listen the story from the novels. She used to touch the novel, she used to rub the pictures on the novel, and she felt so unhappy that she could not read. She was feeling that she could not read, and she felt helpless, and she felt dependent on others. She tried to ask some others to read, and she felt shame to go and ask others. And at that time, when the girl came, she saw the grandmother crying and asked, "Grandmother, has anything happened? Ava?" In Kannada language, Ava means grandmother. "Ava, has anything happened? What happened to you? Why are you crying? I never saw you crying. I never saw, in spite of, even though there are most difficult situations you faced, at that time you did not cry. Now you are crying. Has anything went wrong? Tell me, grandmother." Like that, this girl asked grandmother, but she did not say anything. They had their dinner. They went to bed. On the terrace, they used to sleep on that summer night. So when they went to sleep on the terrace, at that time the grandmother came closer to the granddaughter, touching the forehead of granddaughter and trying to say something. At that time, granddaughter said, "Grandma, do you want to say anything? Do you have anything in your mind to speak out? Tell me, grandma." Like that, granddaughter asked. Now grandmother was crying like anything. Now she started telling about her life. So my life was so wretched, my life was so miserable, my life is not at all happy, because I got married at the early age, and my father did not look after me, and he did not give me good education, and he got married. He was busy in his business, and he got married again. And after our marriage also, and I spent all my time in kitchen cooking for everyone, for my children, for my grandchildren. I spent my whole life with that thing. But now I am feeling so sad about my life. And that when grandmother said about her problems, granddaughter was also feeling so sad. At that time, grandmother said, "Now I want to learn Kannada language, Kannada alphabet. I want to read all these novels and newspaper." And when grandmother said like that, granddaughter, in the beginning she laughed. Afterwards, she saw the determination in grandmother. Though grandmother is wearing spectacles, grandmother's hands are wrinkled, though grandmother is very old, 62 years old, and her hair is grey in color, even then she had the great determination to learn. So for that she was admired to see grandmother. So grandmother wanted to learn Kannada language. She kept a deadline. By the Saraswati Puja day. By the Dasra day, I want to learn this Kannada language. She kept a deadline, and before the Dasra day comes, she wanted to learn all the Kannada alphabet. So she tried to read all the letters every day, and she learned Kannada language. And this girl was the teacher. The 12-year-old girl was the teacher to teach grandmother. So girl's first student is grandma. This grandma's first teacher is this granddaughter. So like that, grandmother learned. So on the Saraswati Puja day, grandmother invited granddaughter to come into her house. And when the granddaughter came, and she touched the feet of granddaughter, you are my first teacher, and therefore today I am going to give you a new frock. Take this as a gift. Then granddaughter said, no, you are elderly person, you should not touch the feet of a small persons. Then grandmother said, though you are small, you're not, I'm not touching my granddaughter, I am touching the feet of a teacher. My teacher, you are my teacher, therefore I touch your feet. Then granddaughter also bent down and touched the grandmother's feet and told to grandmother,